Hey everyone, welcome back to the Dev Lab. Today's session is all about loops in JavaScript. We've touched on some of these concepts in our previous classes, but this video is to throw more light, give more clarity, and walk you through it like a pro. No fluff, just clean, easy to understand code examples. So let's create a file, index.js. Then let's just open our terminal. Let's move it to the right. Yeah, so let's start with the classic for loop. So this is how we write for loop. The for loop. Then you open your bracket. Let I equals 0. So when I is equals to 0, let I be less than 5. So I plus plus. So log I. So this is just for like it's perfect when you know how many times you want something to run. Like right, what we have over here it just means so if I is equals to 0 and I is less than 5, so is less than 5, then it runs the code, then it increases I by 1 every time. That's what this plus plus means. So as long as this I is 0 and 0 is, as we all know, is less than 5, it's just going to show. So let's put that to practice in our terminal. So node index our file name, which is index.js. Yes, so as you can see, it started from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, but you cannot see 5 over here because is want to display something that is less than 5 starting from 0. So yeah, that's for the for loop. So the for loop is like it's perfect when you know how many times you want something to run. So that's just the basic most important thing about this for loop. So next one we're going to be moving on is the while loop. This one just keeps going as long as the condition is true. So let's try that. So if I is equals to 0, let I be equals to 0, while this is where the actually practice. So less than 7. Yeah, so then console log iteration number. But you can put anything here. I'm just using it for to be more clear. Then I. So I plus plus. So we are using this when you don't always know how many times you loop. So it's almost like it's the opposite of for loop. This one is important when you don't know how many times you loop. The loop stops when the condition is false, but it keeps on going as long as it's true. So it's the loop stops when the condition is false. The loop continues when it is true. And is good when you don't know how many times it will loop. Yeah, so it started from 0 to 6. Yeah, so let I be equals to 0 while I is less than 7 because you don't know how many times it's going to be. So that's why it's showing us this. Okay, so that's for the while loop. Next one I'm going to be moving on to the do while loop. So let me just quickly write this so you guys will be able to see it. Yeah, for this I'm just So let me just quickly write all this so you can be able to see it. While then this and this show this while. Okay, so that's that. So this do while loop is it always runs at least once, even if the condition is false. Okay, this is going to be a problem. Okay, so let I be equals to 6. Then do I console log I, then I iteration plus plus. Then this is where the y comes to play. While I is less than 5. So yeah, that's it. In this example, it still prints 6 before checking the condition. So it will still print 6. So let's show it. Yeah, it still display the 6. So it's just saying let I be equals to 6, then do console log I. So that's why I console logged it. While I is less than 5. Then next one we're going to be trying is the for loop, the for off loop. Okay, so let's put this to practice. The for off loop is you just loop through every item and it does not need to worry about index numbers. So just let's what example will I use? Okay, let's use fruits. So let fruit with an S, with the S. Let fruit be equal to this is just a text string, just a text string. Okay, so when fruit is equals to this is just a text string for let fruit of fruit, then console log fruit. So this is very clean and readable. 6. This is just a text string. So let me comment on this. This is just this text string. So as you can see here, it just we gave this the power of fruit to the normal fruit without an S. So then we console log fruit because of this off. So that's just it. It just helps us to look through every item. And like this one is important for like it's great for arrays and strings. As you can see here, this is a string. It's a string but an arrays. It's just good for arrays and strings, yeah. So the next one I'm going to be moving on to is for in loop. The for in loop. For in loop. Okay, so this one is like the same way this one is good for object and strings. That's the same way this one is good for objects, and it loops through the keys of the object. So let's put that to practice. Let person, then keys and objects. So the key is going to be name. Then let's try Kelvin. Then age. So this is a key. As we all know, this is like an object like this now. So an object consists of key and value. So this is the value, while this is the key. So Kelvin's age is going to be 16, a number, while his job is going to be something like a developer. Yeah, let's use that. It's going to be in a string. Developer. So for let key in person if person then block key, then make it strictly equal to 25. Then you console log that Kelvin. Let's use this code. This code helps us to call a variable in it. That's what this code helps us to do. It helps us to call a variable in it when you want to console log. Kelvin is first. This is how we call a variable. You call your dollar sign, then you call the name of the variable, which is this. So I'm going to be calling in this person key. Yeah, years old. So as you can see over here, this one is for objects. What seems to be the error here? There's no. So what seems to be a problem here? So this is our 4. So don't forget to put your 4. If not, then your code will not be useful. So uh if console log now. So what seems to be the problem here? Okay, so let's look at our code. Let person be equals to name, Kelvin, age, 16, job developer. Then for let key in person. So if person key is strictly equals to 20. Oh, it's not supposed to be 25, it's supposed to be 16. So let's try that again. Okay, so you see there, this is why you need to look at your code again, run it through, look for errors that could make your code not to work. So Kelvin is 16 years, which means this is the for in loop is working. So I hope you guys understand this for in loop. It's just the main idea is just for it is for objects, and as we all know, this is an object consists of key and value. So then let key in person. So the key now, these are the keys. The keys are name, age, and job. So let key in this person. So if the key that is inside person is strictly 16, console Kelvin is 16 years old. So yeah. So let's try another example. So something like developer, yeah, is Kelvin is a then your dollar sign. Yeah, so let's try that. Kelvin is a developer, yeah. But if it was something like a doctor, it will not show us, it will not work, yeah. Because the keys that like the values that are inside the key, none of them showing them doctor. So it's like, what are you trying to tell me? What do you want me to consider? I'm not saying doctor here. And you're also telling it strictly equals to is like that thing must be there, it must be have that value. So that's why it's not console login. So yeah, that's how for in loop works. I hope you understand it now. Okay, so next one we're going to moving on to is break and continue. So let's try that. So this is how it is, just simple break. And like now my last class, I told you guys that break. I told you guys break in switch in switch and case. Yeah, it's almost the same thing with this one loop. So let's try that. Okay, so let me make an example. So we use break to exit the loop when a condition is met. It's just used to exit the loop once. While continue is just to skip an iteration, a code. So let I be equals to 0. So I is less than 10. I plus plus. So if I is strictly equals to 0, and break. So yeah, this is where break will come into play. Then console log I. So let's try that. So yeah, it did not work. What this just means is that because it's not showing us here, is because they are telling us that let I be equals to 0, and since I is less than 10, since 0 is less than 10, I say if I is strictly equals to 0, then break. Since I is strictly equals to 0, then break. And I like I said earlier, break is used to exit the loop when the condition is not met, and I is equals to 0, so it's telling to break. So let's change this to something like 3. Then it should console log 3 upwards. Yeah. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's why it's showing us this. So that's for the break. Let's try continue. Continue, like I said earlier, is to skip an iteration. So it's just going to be the same thing. So let me just copy this and paste. It's just going to be the same example of different values. So let's change this back to 0. Change it back to 0. Then change this over here to 5. Then continue. Yeah. Then let's change this here. Iteration number I. Okay, so let's try that. So iteration 1, 2, 3, 4. So since I is equals to 0 and I is less than 5, and if I is strictly equals to 0, continue. So just saying, okay, if I is just equals to 0, since I is already 0, just continue. Just show me the code like that. So that's just it's like break and continue, they're like opposite stuff. So why break is to exit, continue is to continue the or to skip an iteration. Why is it to just exit the why break is to exit the loop. So that's it for break and continue. So next one I'm going to be talking about is nested loops. Ever had to loop inside a loop? Have you ever tried it before? That's where nested loop comes in handy. Nested, like the name implies, just nesting loops. Putting a loop in a loop. So nested loops. So let's try that. For let I be equals to 0. So if I is less than 3, then I plus, then we will nest another loop in this. So this is we're nesting the for loop. So let j be equals to 0. So when j is less than 3, j plus plus. So we're nesting this one. Then log first. We're going to be calling this quote. This are backticks. Backticks. So I then your dollar sign, your curly brackets, curly braces, then G. We're doing IJ now, then J. So let's try this. So as you can see here, it did for I first, then J. And the first loop that we wrote here was for I. So let I be equals to 0, then I is less than 3, then iterate it. So it did 0, 1, 2, 3, 0, 0, 0, 3 times, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, like that. So that's for nested loops. Next one we're going to be doing is looping with forEach. ForEach is a function. I'm going to be teaching you guys in my next video about function. So looping with for each. So there's nothing much here. So just so let's okay. Let me just try this way. For each. So this is the code. So let's use color. So let color be equals to then your arrays green. Let it be red, green, then blue. So colors dot for each dot for each and yeah, this is it. So let me write it step by step so you guys can be able to see it. So for each, then you write your function, then color, then you log console log color. So even trust the colors. So what's the error here? Colors are for each. Colors is not colors is not defined. Okay, so I didn't define it. So take note of this. Anytime you're seeing an error like this, you just go to the top, then you read maybe the first three lines. Maybe the first three lines could help you to know where the error is coming from. Then you'll be able to know how to fix it. So yeah, that's it. So red, green, blue. So that yeah, that's it. So let me just explain this quickly. So let colors be equals to red, green, blue. So colors dot for each, then this function. So you're giving all the arrays of colors to color, then you console log your color without an S. So that's why it's showing us here. Okay, so I think that should be all for this class. So you guys, so fam, here's the key takeaway. So the first one, use for when you know the count, when you know how many times it's going to happen. Use while when you don't. So yeah, that's the opposite. Then this for this do while is it always runs, it runs once. Then for off loop is for arrays and strings. For in loops is for objects. Then break and continue is for like it's just to access more control over your code. So yeah, loops are very much lifesavers in JavaScript, and now you know how to dominate with them. So please, if you got this value, if you got value from this video, hit that like button, drop a looping fire emoji in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to the Dev Lab where we break down code so well even your future self will thank you. So